There are a lot of benefits to getting your license as a real estate investor, and in today's video, I'm just gonna share a few ways that you can make more money as a real estate investor who is licensed. And also, if you're new to the channel, my name's Justin Wrong, and I've helped hundreds of people make money in real estate. So the first way that you can make more money having your license as a real estate investor is actually with referrals. Now, this is actually one of my favorite ways to make money as a real estate investor who is licensed, because you don't really have to do much more work. Like, there's a lot of other things that you can do if you have your license and you're an investor, but it's like a lot more time consuming on your part. But referrals is a lot easier. Now, here's what I mean. As a real estate investor, you're always gonna be trying to find a lot of houses to buy, right? Now, as you're making all these offers and you're trying to buy homes from people, it's inevitable that a lot of these people will not want to sell to a real estate investor because they don't need to sell at a massive discounted price. Like, the people that I help essentially are the sellers or the homeowners who are in very tight situations. They need money fast. They don't care if it's a lot lower than market value, and they're aware of it. Like, these are the people, these are the clients, these are the people who I'm helping, and the houses that I'm buying. It's the people who need to sell. Now, as you're reaching out to thousands and thousands of people, whether you're cold calling or texting or just making MLS offers, whatever it is, you're going to run into a lot of people who don't want to sell at that discounted price. Now, you can either do some type of creative financing to work around that with them, like you can offer seller financing where you essentially, like, the seller can finance the purchase, or like there's a lot of other things that you can do, or you could offer to list it yourself with them. Like, that's another option to help these sellers list their homes, but I don't like it. It's too time consuming for me personally, and I wanna focus on my actual investing and not listing people's houses. Now, that'll net you more than a referral, but what I typically do is if I run into a seller, I'm like, hey, Mr. Seller, would you want to sell your house for this? They say no. You kind of talk more and more, whatever. And they eventually, it's like, hey, what if I just sent you a realtor? They happily list this home for you. They can help you list at the price that you want. You might get a little bit less because of these like closing costs, commissions, whatever it is, but you're listing at the price that you want. Like, you're there to help people, right? And if you give them a realtor, you're there to help. And if you really just give them a realtor, you refer them a realtor, that realtor can also give you a referral fee for just handing them the lead. So for example, I find a seller, they want to list their house for $200,000, and you're like, hey, like, I'm not gonna list this for you, but I know a great realtor that can help you out. You connect the realtor with the actual seller. The realtor listed at 6% commission. They make a good money. They give you 25 to 50% of their commission, essentially. Like, they can give you, that's completely negotiable between you and them, but they can give you a large chunk of their commission just for handing them the seller. Like, not for you doing any of the work. It's just like finding the seller and you found them easily because you're reaching out to thousands of people and just connecting them. And that's all you really have to do. This is why referrals is honestly one of my favorite things. I've done this several times now and it's been really amazing. Now it's gotten to the point to where it has been kind of a hassle to even like fill out the referral paperwork and like hand that to them. But overall, it's pretty simple. Like, it's fast, easy money, assuming you actually have a motivated seller. Now, if you're not doing off-market marketing, like if you're not doing cold calling, texting, like, probably won't run into these because you're probably gonna be finding things through like the MLS, the on-market ways. But this honestly is one of my favorite ways, referrals. So think about it a lot and think about what you would ask to a realtor, what you'd like to have them give you a cut for. Like, I typically have done like 25, 35%. I know a lot of my friends have done 50% just because they brought them so much more business. So like, everything's a lot more negotiable as far as your referral rate, but you cannot take referrals if you are not licensed. So if you're not licensed in doing this and you bring it to a realtor and you're like, hey, like, here's a seller, they want to sell their house, can you give me a little cut? You can't do that. Like, that's not legal, and I'm pretty sure like most of the states, but I'm sure there are ways around it. Like, I'm sure people can pay under the table, whatever. But just saying, like, if you are licensed, it is completely legal. You can get referral fees. There are kickbacks as a kickbacks as a non-agent are illegal, meaning like you can't pay people under the table. Like, that stuff's illegal, but if you're a licensed agent, that's one of the benefits. So that's one of my favorite benefits. Now, the second benefit of having a license as a real estate investor is really just listing your deals, listing your flips. Now, this is probably one of the most obvious ones. This one does help when you're starting out, I will say, because you can net more income on all your properties. So for example, if you buy a house, you're planning to flip it, you're looking to make $30,000 on the flip alone, and then you go to list the home yourself, like, you're doing all the work, and then you can make an extra, what, like $6,000 or $10,000 yourself just from the commissions. So like, there's a lot of money to be made on just the listing for the flips for yourself. Big downside though of listing your own flips is that it stops you from truly scaling your real estate investing business, if that's something you even want. Like, if that's not something you want, then by all means list your flips. But if your plan is to go big on this real estate investing and flipping thing, I would say to shy away from listing your flips. Maybe the beginning is okay, but otherwise, like if you're just always listing your flips, all your time and attention is spent on the listing, like trying to list the flip, doing all the paperwork, the marketing, the open houses, whatever it is for it. That's where your time's being spent. Like you're being an agent, not an investor. Now, as you grow, I think it's really helpful to actually honestly step away from listing your own flips and finding another realtor who can list your flips and probably even get a referral fee from that as well. So there's other things you can do, but that's just one of the things that does help. Like I did that at the beginning. I remember my first rental, I listed it myself when I went to sell it, and it was great because like I wasn't in a position where I'm like, oh, I'm trying to scale this thing to the moon. And so like I was just trying to buy a couple houses, and when I listed my own flip, I was like, wow, this is extra income, it's super easy, saves me money on paying another realtor. So it was great. Like if you want to do that, go ahead. Just be warned that over time you might have to kind of reconsider if your goal is to scale. And the other way that you can make money having your license is actually work for other investors on their MLS team. Now, this is something that I have other people working for me. Like right now I have 3 MLS agents or real estate agents who are finding me MLS deals. Now, it's actually been great and it's very beneficial to them as well, because I mean, there's a lot of ways to compensate people, but often, at least at the beginning, when you have like an ongoing new relationship, I usually tell them like, hey, you can represent me on the purchases that you find and on the resales when I actually flip the things. So they essentially get 2 listings for just finding me 1 deal. So if they're looking for listings themselves, like they can essentially double their income just by working for an investor like me. So if you have your license and maybe you're kind of like not ready to jump all the way into investing yourself, like you can work just for another investor and say, hey, like let me find you some deals, but just let me represent you on the purchase, the resale, or whatever it is you negotiate. But like that's a great way to make extra income. For example, one of my friends or one of my MLS agents, he just brought me a deal, and here's how it works. Like he brought me the deal. This was on the MLS, and you know, he's in charge essentially of like making all the offers, following up with the offers, just trying to get deals from the MLS. Found me a deal. Essentially, yeah, he brought me to it. And I think what did he get? He got like maybe $6,000 for just the initial listing. And later on when it's flipped, it's gonna be worth so much more. So his listing commission will be a lot more. Like, so he's probably gonna make 15, 20K on this one home. Like he sent me 1 home, but he gets 2 listings out of it. So it's very beneficial if you do have a license, and especially if you're not ready to jump into the whole investing thing completely on your own. Like I understand that a lot of my MLS agents, pretty much all of them, like they want to invest a lot themselves, but this is kind of their stepping stone. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door and get your feet wet, just to work for another investor and find MLS deals for them. And your advantage of like the reason why they need you is essentially because you have the license, you have MLS access, you can comp a lot better. And if you don't know what comp means, it's basically finding like comparable properties of like what homes have sold for to figure out what homes will sell for after you're finished fixing up. So that's why I need my MLS agents. Like I could do that myself, but my comps that I pull via PropStream, really, or Zillow, like they're not as accurate as someone going directly to the MLS to find them. So these are a couple of things you can do, and honestly, they've helped me a lot. I hope they help you too. And also, if you want help to grow your real estate investing business, I want you to click on the link in the description for a free strategy session. Peace.